I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. I'm a sucker for love that's so new, breathing through lungs that aren't mine, but it's tough to be holding on to something so measured in time, simple, selfish. Show no self-control. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. I would love to be killing for you. You should love to be under my knife. When you touch me, I'll sell this to you. It isn't love till you're losing your sight. Simple, selfish, show no self-control. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya. Let it there, I could take a bow to my savior. Let it there, long as you don't ask me to save ya.
Guys, are we here? Are we here right now? Clip it. Pink,
Yes.
Pink Ranger's like, clip it. Oh, you guys can see me also over here. Look, I'm floating around your head right now. Do you see that?
What? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna not have that there.
Okay.
What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome. Sorry, I was having a little bit too much fun with Zoom. Zoom does a bunch of like weird things. Have you used Zoom to like listen back to music?
No, I haven't.
Like you can like, it's so weird because you would think like, hey, I want to show you this song, and you would think that that's like been a feature for like ever, but it really hasn't. And then Zoom came along and you can like actually like play sound through it. So first thing before I forget,
cool.
can you guys also hear Calica? Yes, perfect.
Yay.
Cool. We're on a little bit of a delay, but I'm super stoked you're here. When did you go blue with your hair?
I went blue because of the election.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Yeah, it was blonde for a while. I think I might go like another color and then just like dye black again. But I'm having fun with it right now.
I was pink for a little bit. Like
Sick.
my whole
Yeah, I
head.
have some pink hair dye.
Did when we met, was my hair pink or was it brown? I feel like you would have remembered if it was pink.
I've
It was like
photos
bright.
of
It was
pink.
bright.
Yeah.
Blue hair gang, Pink Ranger. You got blue hair. Looks like you've got a fellow blue hair person in the thing.
Oh hell yeah.
Needs to dye his beard pink too. See, I'm not about dyeing my beard though. I don't know. Maybe like to me, I just feel like this is like off limits. Do you have like, would you dye your like all of your hair, or like is there like?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would. I think
What about eyebrows?
Commit to a
Would you
color?
dye your eyebrows?
I don't know. I'm like scared to do that. I feel like I would consider it. Like it depends. Like it would have to be like the same color as my hair if I were ever to do it.
Okay, well, guys, we're changing the stream. We're both going. I'm gonna dye my beard orange, and Calica's gonna dye her eyebrows something. I don't know. No, but I want to get into it because I have a ton of stuff to ask you. Like I'm, very fortunate to get to meet a ton of talented people. For those of you who are in here who don't know me, my name is Chris. I go by Voices Chris on pretty much everything. Wednesdays we do an unreleased demo listening, and on Fridays I get to talk to talented people like Calica here.
Thank you.
And so I wanted to, we're going to get to talk about everything from your history to artistry to production to TikTok to gaming, all of it. So there's a lot to cover. So you're currently in LA. You're still writing, producing. You have a song that just came out today. Congrats.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Thank you.
Did the video come out too, or is that like coming out after?
Yeah, the video is gonna come out next week, Tuesday. So.
And that's for Better.
For Better, yeah.
That's amazing. And I want to talk about like how you went about creating the video and everything, because I feel like some videos are just like a vibe, but I feel like there's so much that went into this, like a crane and mirrors and all this shit that like I don't think we got to fully dive into that in our last call. But
totally,
you're in LA, but let's go back to where you started, which was you're a Florida person like me, right? You were born in Miami and grew up there.
Yes, born and raised in Miami.
What part?
And then I moved out to LA about a year ago. Sorry?
What part of Miami?
Literally just like Miami. Like if you know where Miami Shores is,
just
kind
the
of
middle of Miami. Well, I didn't know, like, because I feel like Miami, there's like, people might be like they'll like be in Kendall, but they're Miami, or they're in Hollywood and they're Miami or whatever.
Totally. There's like a bunch of like little neighborhoods. My neighborhood doesn't really have a name, so it's like literally like just in the heart of Miami, I guess. But it's close to Wynwood. It's close to like 10 minutes from the beach. Like it's like very central.
Well, what was it for you like growing up there? Like what were your like earlier memories like of just the culture? Like what was food like for you? What kind of things did you do that weren't music related?
Yeah. So my grandma lives in Little Havana, and so that was a huge part of my childhood. Was I would like go and stay with her a lot, especially when I was like really little. My mom would just pick me up from school and then take me to my grandma's house. So it was like all Spanish all the time, like all Cuban food. I really, really, really miss Cuban food.
What's your like in LA? I would think there was some good Cuban food out there. There's not like Florida.
No, not at all. It's like, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just not like authentic. And there's only like 2 or 3 spots. Like you can't just like go around the corner and get like a cafecito or like, I think it's just like the breakfast that I miss the most. Like the Cuban coffee and like the pastries and stuff. I'm really excited to go home in December and like have that again.
Dude, that's like part of my favorite thing. Like that's why I kind of focused on food, because I feel like going home, whether it's your like family's cooking or like just like the shit that you remember being good and it's just always good. Like that's awesome. My thing when I go home is a lot less classy than that. Mine is like Munchie's 420 Cafe. which is literally
Oh,
open from
beautiful.
4:20 p.m. to 4:20 a.m. So if you can
Oh
imagine
my
what
God, I
kind
love
of
that.
food they serve, there's literally a sandwich that's chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, burger, French fries,
Oh
and
my
tater
gosh.
tots or something, and it's
That's
ridiculous.
insane.
Nicola knows what's up. So Nicola, who's in here, fun fact: if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have even worked in music at all. Like
Whoa.
we were at the. I remember distinctly being at the beach and him being like, "You got to go see this show," and that was my first concert ever. Like at 16,
Wow.
and we went, and it's really cool that he's here. But
That's awesome.
yeah, Munchies in Sarasota, Florida, where I grew up, was like that for me. So I totally get that. And then, were you always like at the beach, like my family was?
I think when I was younger, I was at the beach a lot. I feel like as I got older, like I would definitely go to the beach often. But I was more like in my room in the studio, like nonstop, and then going out at night, obviously.
Yeah. Is your family still there?
Yeah, my parents are still there.
I don't know if you have this problem. I definitely have this problem. My mom, whenever I get on FaceTime with her, she's always like, "You're so pale." Like, I don't know what it is whenever I talk to Florida people. They're always like, "You're so pale." And I mean, even being in LA, like, the water's pretty cold. So it's like, you might go
Yeah.
to the beach, but you're not necessarily going to be like there all day, all the time.
Yeah. Even when I was going to the beach like regularly, like I feel like I'm just like always this color, which is it sucks. My whole family is like,
Hey, we
oh,
lost you. Oh, there you are.
shoot. Sorry, I was getting a call.
Your real name was just leaked through Zoom.
Uh oh.
No, I'm pretty sure it exists in other places on the internet.
What was I saying? Yeah, anyway, my whole family's like very tan and Hispanic looking, and I just like didn't get any of those genes, which is fine.
Are they from Florida too, or did they move there from somewhere else? Or
Well, my mom's side is Cuban, so they all came from Cuba when she was like 8 or 9, and they lived in New Jersey, and then from Jersey they like came to Miami. And then my dad came to Miami when he was very young, but like, yeah, he was born in Puerto Rico, and then they also went to New York, and then from New York to Miami.
well, my family is French, and when you talk about America, like you would think they're like, oh, New York, like they like love Miami. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Like
that's awesome.
Miami just is like a hub for like culture, and there's so many different people that live there. So it's really cool that you started there. And I mean, you obviously talked about your parents moving there younger, but are any of them or any other family members like musical?
Sorry, you cut out.
So
What was the question?
are any of your family members musical?
Oh, no, not really. My parents are both like creative, but I was the only one who really got the music gene. Like, even with all my cousins, I think. My mom's like a graphic artist, so she's like creative, and my dad is a nurse, but he also like loves painting and like drawing and stuff. But yeah, the music was just like random.
Yeah, I mean, you started doing music stuff, playing piano like at 6, right?
Yeah, I was 6 when I like started piano lessons formally. And I was like the youngest person that like my teacher like wanted to teach. And then from there it was just like I fell in love with classical piano, and I like did a couple competitions here and there, and then studied it all through high school, and then went on to like college for voice.
Yeah, and I mean, did you when you were doing those classes? Because I feel like parents and in general, like for a good portion of your life, you're kind of just dragged around to do whatever they want you to do. Um,
Right.
like, did it ever feel like you didn't want to do it? Like it was just like this like arduous thing, or was it? Or
Oh
what?
yeah.
Or was it like the first time you started playing it, you're like, oh, this is for me, and this is all I want to do.
I hated practicing. Like I loved going to lessons. I loved like performing and stuff, but like practicing like was like pulling teeth basically. And my parents like they were never like really hard on me about it, but they were always like made sure that I at least like did like an hour a day on the piano, and they were like, you're gonna thank us later for this, like you're gonna, I know you're upset now, but like you're really gonna appreciate this like later on. And they were like completely right, because piano just like helps me so much with my production now, and like I'm really thankful that I have like all of that background theory knowledge.
I can only imagine. And I mean, so from there, like, there's obviously like performing arts middle schools and high schools and everything like that. And I know you went to a performing arts high school, but like, was that just like you were in that part, like you were zoned for that, or was it like you specifically were like, I want to go to that school because you're trying to
Yeah.
like build up on your music thing?
So I went to a performing arts middle school too, which was 45 minutes away from my house.
Dang.
So yeah, my actual homeschool was like pretty rough, and like I didn't really want to go there. Um, and my parents saw that I like had this like inclination for music, and then I ended up doing voice in middle school as well. Like I was taking piano lessons outside, but I went to middle and high school for like voice, and that's when I started like my vocal lessons and things like that.
Man, and then like obviously at this point you're learning so much about music and the theory of it and you're having fun playing it, but like, you know, at some point were your parents ever like, that's great that you're doing the music thing, but at some point you're gonna graduate high school and you're gonna have to find a real job or something. Like, did your parents ever think that you would be doing music for a living, or did you think that that's what you would be doing, or like, or and when did that happen?
Yeah, so it was kind of like the opposite situation for me. I think I hit a point like junior, senior year of high school where I like started to be like, oh my God, I can't do music. Like I won't be able to like survive. And my parents like were the opposite. They were like, dude, you've been doing this your whole life. We support you. You should just go for this now. And then I was the one trying to be more realistic, like, oh, like maybe I should study like music business or something just so that I like could have like a stable job and all that. So I ended up majoring in music business in college, but like also doing like performance, like because they make you do like a principal instrument, and that was voice. So yeah, but my parents have always been like super duper supportive of my music career, which is incredible, and I love them. But yeah, I think I was the one kind of like trying to be a little bit more realistic. Yeah.
I mean that's amazing because that's not the case for everybody, right? It's like
Yeah.
as supportive as parents can be, sometimes it could be they're going to be concerned too at a certain level. But it sounds like they've always had this like belief and trust in you that you were going to figure it out. So that's awesome. And you mentioned voice major. I'd seen some a cappella videos of you, whether it was like you posting like clips of like you with like other singers, and I think there was one video I saw of you guys in a church while you were traveling. Um, does does that feed does what you did in the acapella space like ever feed into what you're doing now?
Oh yeah, totally. I was in chorale in university, so that was like the touring choir basically, and we got to go like all over Europe and like perform in these amazing cathedrals, and it was like one of the best experiences like ever of my life. And that was like on that trip. I was in a vocal trio with my best friend Kat, who I live with in LA now, and then our other friend Rachel, and we would just do it for fun. Like we had like some gigs where we would just do like 3-part harmony, like folk trio kind of stuff. And it was awesome. But yeah, all of that, like the choir knowledge too, helps me so much with like harmonies, and I can like I feel so comfortable in the studio just like going at it and like doing like 30 different like tracks of just like me harmonizing with myself, and I think that the choir stuff like definitely helped with that.
I mean, that's amazing. I'm realizing that we might have missed a Cuban food suggestion for you. Have you been to La Bamba in Burbank? Cosmic is saying
no,
that that is some dank Cuban food. So maybe I don't know, maybe something to think about
I
another
will
time.
check that out.
But and yeah, Nicola, some people, believe it or not, do not spend 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the beach. Nicola and myself and a bunch of people, we actually had like, I guess what you would call like a club essentially, where we would like all be at the beach all day long, and it was just it was ridiculous. Like I was very, very, very dark, very sunburnt. Harmonies are definitely the ear candy of songs. I agree, Baltimore. Yes. Especially, I'm just a big fan of voices in general. So, I guess when did you start thinking about moving to LA then?
It was, I think what pushed me to do it was I met my like two producers that I work really heavily with out here in Miami when we all still lived there, and they moved to LA like 6 months after I had met them, and so then I would like be back and forth from Miami to here, like working with them. And I was still in school at that time, so after I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself a year to save up, and then I'm just gonna do it. They were like, you gotta come out here, and like, there is a scene in Miami for music, but it's nowhere close to like what it is out here for like indie pop at least. So yeah,
did you ever play like in Wynwood, like during the arts festival and everything?
yeah. I never played Art Walk, but yeah, I played in a couple of venues in Wynwood before. I played at like Floyd and Las Rosas. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a cool vibe. It's like it's kind of a bummer in a way that like it's not. You would think that it was more like vibrant of like a music scene than it is, but it really has a pretty like and there is great music in Miami, but
Yeah.
there's also like a ton of club culture that's almost like, it's not really about live performance. It's more about just like
Right.
the atmosphere that you're going in. So I guess like at what point did you come up with the name Calica for your artist thing? Like when and like was that the first name that you went with, or did you go by your name first?
Yeah. So senior year of college, like when I met, well, it was like junior year when I met my producers. They just like saw a video like randomly of me on Facebook, like singing like a classical song. And he like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, like we like would love for you to like try writing a top line for us, like blah blah blah." So then I ended up writing for them. It was like the first song I ever wrote, like ever. And it ended up like doing pretty decent on Spotify, and then like went through this whole breakup, and we wrote the album together, and they were like, okay, well, like you need to call yourself something, and I was like, yeah, I probably should, and like I don't necessarily want to use my real name. So yeah, Calica came about because I like cats a lot. And I have like two little babies at home that are my sons. But yeah, I also had like a couple calico cats growing up, and they were also my babies. And calico was taken, so I just like put an A at the end.
I
And
love that, and
that's how
then
calico was born.
it almost kind of gives it more of like a feminine thing, I guess. Like when you look at like different languages and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, it
yeah.
looks like everybody's here for cats, but Baltimore had the question about what is top line for those in the chat who might not be familiar with the term.
Yeah, a top line is basically just like a melody and lyrics. It's like a term normally used for like a lot of EDM songs. Like EDM producers will like generally send you like a beat or like the full production to a song that they've made, and then the singer would come up with like a melody and lyrics for it, and then we call it like top line.
There you go, guys. The we're just asking for some cats in the chat, just so you can get some extra cat love there. But I really love. I mean, the name stands out, but also another thing that stands out is like your aesthetic in general. So obviously you had to like come up with a name, but then the next part of being an artist is like the overall vibe, which I feel like when you look at your earlier stuff and then all the way to now, it's evolved quite a bit. What,
Right.
how much thought did you kind of put into it at the beginning, or was it just sort of this gradual, natural process to where you are now?
Yeah, I feel like it's always evolving. Like a lot of people recently have been like, yeah, like your brand is just like so like authentic to you, and it looks like really cohesive and stuff, and I'm just like, really, does it? Like I just like I don't know. I think I've definitely come a long way, and it's always a process, like in terms of like visuals and like I don't know, I feel like my style changes a lot too. But yeah, I think it's a whole other side to like the creative process, like that's not music related, so it's fun to be creative in like a different way and like come up with like cool outfits for photo shoots and like visual content and like makeup and hair. I think it's fun.
Where were you pulling those inspirations from? Like from film, from TV, from magazines? Like where were you seeing those visual things? YouTube?
Honestly, like Mostly social media. Like I follow like a lot of like really cool style inspirations like on Instagram. Also TikTok played like a huge role in me like dyeing my hair. Like it's just like I don't know, I feel like super inspired by a lot of the like fashion and like makeup and hair content that I follow online, and that like super influences my style.
I love all the like trends. It's like some of my favorite stuff when I am on TikTok, which I'm careful about it because if I go there, I'm like there for a while. And then Kristen's like,
Yeah.
Chris, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just scrolling, and I'm like, holy shit, it's been an hour. But I love my favorite stuff is like those transition stuff and glow up and like everything from just all of the fashion choices and everything.
Totally.
So it's cool that like TikTok is that kind. It's not only like somewhere that you participate in yourself, which we'll talk about in a bit, but something that inspires you. And when you're listening to your stuff, you get a lot of like that '80s synth pop vibe out of like whether it's like even to your newer stuff. I would say like there it definitely feels more apparent in your older stuff, or at least the stuff
Yeah.
that you're doing with Daniel. But it's like um, I guess being a music student you clearly in a performance major like you clearly have like a knowledge of all types of music, you have a knowledge of theory and the rules. Like do you ever feel like that gets in the way of your creative process, or does it empower you? Like what role does
Yeah.
your knowledge of music play in your creative process?
That's a great question. I feel like it helps more than it hurts, but it can definitely like hinder me sometimes. Just like I feel like all of the music kids that I know, like that have gone to school for it, and like myself included, like we can be a bit like pretentious sometimes about things, and like if I write something and it sounds like too like overdone or too poppy or like too whatever that I like get in my brain, like I'll like sit there and be like, oh my god, like how do I make this sound like less like obvious? Like it just like I get super in my head about like having it be unique. And I think that's just like comes from like years of like being in school and being exposed to like all different kinds of songs. Like whereas like sometimes I wish I just like didn't think about it and like I could just like write something and be like, cool, yeah, done. Um, but yeah,
I was gonna say, does it like it's got to pull you in so many different directions because like as a fan of music you got to like a ton of stuff, but like being an artist you've got to be pretty focused too in a sense. Like you're obviously
mm-hmm.
allowed you like should experiment and break the mold like whenever you want, but like do you ever draw the line? Like are you like I'm just not going to do like I'm not going to do a country song, or I'm not going to do like a classical instrumental like album? Like do you draw the line in that way for you? And if so, like
um,
where are those lines?
I feel like for me, like the lines are pretty extreme. Like I really have no issue like diving into like a bunch of different genres just because like I want to see like what even comes out, and like not being signed right now. I feel like I have that freedom to just like do what I want to do. And then obviously like once something sticks, then I'll like maybe like narrow in a little bit more. But I want to write in Spanish. I want to like write in like all kinds of different genres. Like there's so many things that I like haven't even touched yet that I still really want to do. So yeah, I feel like the lines are not really super there for me. Like I wouldn't be opposed to doing a country song ever. I don't really listen to that much country music, but like it's an option. And then I also have like the classical background, so like who knows? I don't know. Maybe I could do like some cool shit down the line classically.
Yeah, I love that. And also, you talked about the label side of stuff with being an independent artist. I remember you talking about like that you've worked with some PR companies here and there. Like, how do what does your team look like right now, and like how do you decide who you sort of like hire on to like take on a role, and like what do you look for in like a partner in that way?
Yeah. Right now my team is just me. I don't have management. I had management pretty early on, and it didn't like work out, which is like totally fine. I'm like very very happy managing myself now. I really like. I had no idea like about the other, like the business end of it. Like I studied music business, but it did not prepare me like for like the real world essentially. So it's been really, really cool this whole year learning about that stuff and like having those calls and being the person in charge of my own career. So yeah, I feel like I definitely want to bring people onto the team for sure. But I just have to really trust them and know that they are like looking out for my best interest. And yeah, it's like obviously, you know, it's like an insane world of like music business, and you just have to like really surround yourself with people that you trust. So
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like I'm super impressed by with you is that you've been able to accomplish so much already, like on your own. And I mean it's never truly on your own, right? Like you've collaborated with people and everything like that. But like credit where credit's due, you've managed everything, like all of the opportunities that come through, your time, which is you know I feel like one of the hardest thing for an artist to do that has as many talents as you have. So I guess that's why I was curious about like it sounds like you're just very like particular about like who that person is going to be, and for good reason. You want them to do a good job for you. So it's like
totally.
what is there like you know anybody on here that like might be an aspiring artist or is like curious about like going inside of an artist's brain beyond trust? Like is there anything else that you like look for that are like, oh, that's like a really good sign, or conversely like a red flag?
Yeah. Besides trust, I think probably the second most important thing would be communication. I like have had a couple people that I've worked with in the past that are just like so bad at like communicating and getting back to me, or like just like I don't know. I feel like you definitely need like a super open line of like communication with people, and just like not answering for a couple weeks is like not a great sign.
That's real. Somebody didn't answer you for a couple of weeks.
Like my manager.
What were they doing? Were they like on the top of a giant mountain somewhere where they didn't have service? I would love to know what their excuse is.
Who knows? I don't know.
Man.
But
well, the good news is you're not dealing with that now, and you're like I don't need that in my life, and you moved on from it. So before I completely neglect the chat again, people are asking if they could see your cats, which I believe Kiwi, her cats are in Miami. Am I right?
I wish they could see my cats. I wish I could see my cats.
Yeah, I know you're bumming Calica out by reminding her that well, you can FaceTime and go and see them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll see them next month, hopefully, like, if I can go back safely.
Yeah, 100% with everything going on. I mean, traveling has got to be, I don't leave this room, pretty much. I just change the colors of the lights to make myself believe I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Pink Ranger TikTok is very addicting. Watch your usage of it. But if you're going to be on it, you should go look at Calica stuff, because it's pretty fucking dope. And Baltimore, Fire, Warzone, and Apex clips. Definitely something I enjoy watching. I'm horrible at Warzone, but I play quite a bit of Apex. It looks like Baltimore's also saying you've got boss ass bitch energy. Let's fucking go. So
thank you.
Getting cheered on in the chat right now. It looks like Pink Ranger already followed you. Yeah, and if you lose the link for some reason and you still need her to answer some incredible question that I'm about to ask and give an incredible answer that she's been giving us, totally cool. Command guest, and you'll be able to see her Instagram and TikTok. So I want to talk about the co-writing process a bit and like what role that plays in your creativity, because you already talked about like part of the start was like these producers really inspired you, but then obviously you've become quite the talented producer yourself over time. So what is we've been lucky enough to like work on a couple sessions together, like with like just I've gotten to set up a couple things, but how do you balance your time between like doing what you can just write and create and produce and literally release a song completely on your own, but you can also collaborate with people. So how do you balance that time?
Yeah, that has actually been like one of my biggest like lessons of the past couple of months. Since like all this like TikTok stuff and all the people that I've been meeting like virtually and like doing sessions out here, it's been like difficult to juggle all of that, like, and still be like working on my music myself too. So yeah, I'm definitely getting myself on more of a schedule in terms of like my own stuff, because it's like equally as important to just like sit at the computer by myself and like have like me time for music. Just because I've been having so many other sessions, which are awesome, and I like really enjoy it. But yeah, I definitely want to be taking a little bit more time to just like write by myself, rather than like writing with 10 different people at a time.
Man, and I guess what makes you say like, because you obviously have to say like, yeah, I'll collaborate with this person. No, I won't collaborate with that person. Like, what makes you be like, yeah, I want to collaborate with that person? What is it? Stuff they've done in the past, or just the vibe you get from them? People you trust's recommendation, all of the above.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I will usually give most people like a shot that like want to do sessions. And I think like that first session is always like the test for me. Like if like I feel like musicianship is like the biggest thing for me. Like you can sort of tell when somebody's like on it and like when they're not. And it's also like definitely a vibe thing too. Like you definitely have to like create like a certain vibe with each other and like be able to bounce ideas off and like be like okay with like telling the other person like, oh no, like I don't really like that, but we like try it this way. So yeah, it's totally like a personalities thing for me. And then also just like, yeah, you can kind of like tell when somebody knows their shit.
No, I love that, and I was going to, well, somebody in the chat beat me to it, but are you more creative in the morning or at night, or does it like change?
I honestly think I'm a morning person. I feel super creative in the morning, which is like has not always been the case, but I think since like my coffee shop job, I've just kind of gotten used to like the mornings now. And like I'll have people like wanting to do sessions at like 10 or like 11 at night, and I'm just like I can't. Like I've been up for like too long to like be clear-headed at that time right now.
No, I feel that. And then, I mean, you brought up coffee, so we're gonna take a quick little detour, and I want to know, like, because we recently got an espresso machine, and I've been loving it, and like trying a bunch of new things. Like, what's your go-to like, your go-to drink?
Oh gosh, I actually quit coffee after I quit my
Oh,
job
dang!
because I know it's really rough. I wish like it was not the case. I just like I have like a stomach lining thing where I like shouldn't be drinking coffee at all because it like gives me the worst like stomach aches ever.
Oof.
So I was like I started getting them again, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to get rid of like the caffeine, which like sucks. But if I could drink coffee, I think my go-to is like iced espresso with like tiny bit of half and half and like some vanilla.
I dig that. And
That's my shit.
so you just plug directly into the wall? Is that how you like get all your energy? Because I feel like you have more energy than I do half the time. Whenever
It's
we're on a conversation, I'm just like I'm struggling.
it's like rough for sure. I've been like trying to do more tea now. Like I can do like chai tea or whatever, which now that I don't drink coffee anymore, like chai actually gives me like a little buzz, which I have never had. So you know, it is what it is. I like
That's
it was hard, definitely, like after drinking coffee every single day, like at the coffee shop. The first couple weeks were hard, but now it's like I'm over the hump.
that's wild because I feel like chai tea, even though I drink coffee, like hypes me up like nothing else. But I guess everybody's body reacts differently to different chemicals, right? So back
Yeah.
to music, are there any people right now that you are like particularly inspired by for your own music that you're like, I want to have a career like theirs, or like
Mm.
you view them as competition, or like, you know, your homies in music, like who inspires you right now?
Yeah. Right now I really love Claro. Like I like hadn't been super into her before, and now I'm just like really digging her stuff. Also, like, as usual, like Kevin Parker. I love him, and I would like love to be like the female Kevin Parker one day. I know I'm not in like a psychedelic like band, but
You're gonna have to do a lot
with
more
him.
acid, I think.
I mean, that's fine with me.
No,
um,
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I love his production style a lot, and I take like a lot of inspiration from him, like production wise.
What did you think of the song you did with Mark Ronson? I think was it Daffodils or Dandelion? What was did you ever hear that song they did together?
I don't think I've heard it. No.
Oh my god.
Is it recent?
No, it was on whatever the Mark Ronson. Well, and it's funny because the song you would probably know from that Mark Ronson project was probably Uptown Funk. But
Okay.
there was a song on that project with Kevin Parker that they co-produced together that is insane.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure it's called.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
If chat can confirm, I'm pretty sure it's called Daffodils, but it's
Cool.
it's amazing. I mean, obviously Mark Ronson in his own right has a vibe, but Kevin Parker, like, there's got to be a documentary made. Like, bless you. There could already. I feel like there could already be a documentary made on like how inspirational Kevin Parker as a producer is to like this generation of music. It's wild.
Yeah.
Looks like somebody found the song. It is Daffodils. Thanks, Fading.
Thanks.
You're the best. So we're gonna start moving towards production because I feel it's just naturally going that way. But before we do, we talk about your own music, and you had done a couple of features, and it looks like you have a feature coming out with a band called Monterey. Are they just like childhood friends, or like what like how
Yeah.
I guess how do you decide on what songs you feature
So yeah, they're not childhood friends, but they're some of my good friends from Miami. And David, the guitarist for that band, played with me for my album release party back in Miami, like right before I moved to LA. And they're great. They're like a prog. Well, okay, so I did one with, he's in two bands. I did a feature for like one of his bands where I just sang some like ethereal like background vocals and stuff on their track, and then the feature with Monterey is gonna be, he does like pretty similar like 80s like synthy kind of alternative stuff, and they're great. But yeah, normally I like don't do features for like people unless like I don't know, like I know them super well, or like they have like a decent like following or like something like that. But they're my good friends, and I love their music.
What's your least favorite band of all time, or favorite artist? Do you have one that you just really don't like?
Oh my god, that's so hard. I don't know. I probably do.
Well, and you don't even have to come up with a name for it. I don't want to put it negative, but how much money would you have to be paid to do it, or would you, or is there no amount of money?
Oof. I don't know. That's so hard because I'm trying to think of like who it would be. I don't think I would be like super super against collaborating with anyone unless like they were like very like openly like bigoted or like closed-minded. Like I don't know. You know? Like I just like I don't think I could put a dollar figure on like a collab that I like wouldn't want to do.
Good. That was a test. It was a complete test, and I'm surprised chat didn't come up with like Nickelback or something. I feel like normally when we start talking about this, people just default to them.
I feel like that's so mean.
Which I think is it's unfair. I think for especially like I feel like there are worse bands than Nickelback from like just a purely like musical standpoint.
Yeah.
But
it sucks that the world can just like get on a bandwagon of like hating you for no reason, and then it just becomes a thing.
It looks like Cosmic is not a fan. Okay, I would love to know, chat, who your least favorite artist is while we figure this out. So it looks like Tone. I mean, Dance Monkey is on all the time, so I get why somebody might get annoyed by that song. But yeah, it's funny. People are like surprised that people who are younger than 30 even really know who Nickelback is.
That's funny.
It's amazing. It looks like Creed, then it was Nickelback. Now people have moved on to Imagine Dragons. Yeah, it seems like Coldplay really dodged a bullet with Imagine Dragons being that one. I feel like for a second it was like a battle between Coldplay and Imagine Dragons for like most unliked for some reason. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's songs from all of those artists that I just love. So I agree with you. It's hard to be like I just don't like this particular artist. So I want to get into production. You've already answered a couple of these questions, but like what tools are you using now to produce your stuff?
Right now it's pretty basic. I use Ableton, and then I have my MIDI keyboard, I have my mic, and like my two monitors. And then sometimes I'll bring a guitar in or like instruments like as needed. But right now that's like my little setup. I have an Apollo interface, and then yeah, mostly for my TikTok stuff, I've been using my like USB Blue Yeti mic just because it's like handy and it's like super easy, and it's actually been like pretty decent. But for my other music stuff, I use my like other mic.
Did you do you play bass too? Like what instrument? What all of like? It sounds like you can do a lot of stuff in the box when you know how to play piano, right? Because you can almost like do everything through a MIDI or anything like that. But like, are there any instruments that you just like don't understand? And like, also, what do you like to play that people might not know that you like to play?
Yeah, I don't consider myself a guitar player at all. I can play like chords if I really try, or like little like things if I like sit there and like try hard to like I can get it done in the studio if I need to, but like I would never ever go like on stage and play guitar for myself. Um, I play ukulele. I guess that's like fine, but piano is my main instrument. And just like yeah, I can play like synths and stuff, but mostly just keys.
Well, speaking of keys, Fading needs to know: do you play guitar? Have you played
I've
guitar?
actually never tried one, and I really want to.
Because it sounds like
I've
that's
never
like two.
played.
That's like a blend of the two things, right? It's like you don't play guitar
Yeah,
that well, but you play piano very well. Maybe you just make the guitar a piano. I feel like that's why the guitar was made. It was like I can't play the guitar, but I can play the piano. Great,
yeah,
you play the guitar now.
that would actually be sick. Like I would love to play guitar like on stage.
And I mean, what's more '80s than a guitar? I feel like
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally.
I don't know what is.
Totally.
Underrated instrument. But what I was going to say was with the fact that you can like play all of these things, do you ever produce for other people?
I've been starting to very recently. I have like two people that I'm producing for, which has been like the coolest learning experience ever. Because like for both of them, I was like, hey guys, like I have never produced for anyone else. Like I like normally just like make stuff for myself, but like I'm super down to work, and it's been awesome. Like they both are like super great. So yeah, that's like a whole other world of like opportunities that I've like barely like touched as of now. But yeah, I'm always learning to like with production. I feel like I'm like here, and like there's so much more to go with it. But yeah.
The can you say who those artists are, or is that like TBD until you're
Um,
you're through it?
yeah, one of the artists, her name is Devin Baldwin. She's awesome. Um, and then the other guy is he hasn't really put out any music yet, but he's an influencer and he's like awesome. And I can't wait for him to like start releasing music. So I think it's gonna do really well.
Dude, that's amazing. I haven't tried this, and I've been wanting to try it. And you being the producer that you are, do you have well, you're doing this on your phone. I was going to say if you could play something that you're working on that you're excited about, that would be cool. But maybe we'll wait until later on in the stream to try that. That was just like a random thought. I was like, oh shit, what if we played something that you're working on? But let's skip that for now and talk about with the stuff that you're producing for other people. Like, do you obviously you take time away from one thing when you give it to another, like, and we talk about songwriting and how that's like a whole thing. Like, what does is there an average day for Calica, and like if so, what like percentage of the day is allocated to what? We know that none of it is allocated to coffee anymore. So what?
You know.
So you have all of this time to do other stuff now, like
Yeah.
have your tea steep while you do something else. Like what are you doing during like an average day?
Totally. Usually, so if I have something to prep for, like at the end of the week, like a rehearsal or like a big session, I'll like dedicate like my morning to that. But I usually wake up, like make some tea, and then answer emails for like a good hour. And then after emails are done, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do any of that anymore. Like I just like want to dive into like the creative headspace. So I'll like work on tracks that I'm working on. Like I usually have like a couple of like things that I need to like top lines that I need to record for like sessions. So I'll get that out of the way and like send people stems. I'm doing like a couple brand deals, so I'll usually like work on that, like writing lyrics or like writing production stuff for those. And then midday is usually my like TikTok time. So I'll like film whatever TikTok that I made like the previous night. Um, and then I'll try to eat in between all of that, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and then I get super hungry, and then I have to like make a giant dinner for myself. And yeah, then the nighttime is usually either like sessions or like hanging out with my roommate, um, or working. I don't know. It's kind of like a typical day, but like each day is like super different. I have to get better at like making a set schedule for myself. But yeah.
Well, it's I can imagine it's difficult when opportunities just kind of keep popping up, you know. So, I mean, um, are there any brands that you're working with that you're allowed to talk about, or is that sort of like all like NDA type stuff? Like,
Yeah, there's a couple that are like in progress that I like probably like shouldn't mention, but I've done stuff for like Flawless Beauty, and then I just did one for like the Fight for 15 for like the Florida minimum wage. So yeah, every opportunity is super different, and it's been like really fun to just like write these like 30 to 60-second like little fun songs for TikTok or for social media and stuff. And yeah, it's definitely way better than a day job.
yeah, and I mean, I feel like I guess the creative process has got to be different for something like that. Like, are you just purely working off of a brief, and you're sort of just like, I'm servicing this client, and I'm just creating a thing? Like, because I feel like some artists might be like, oh, I'm above doing something like that. But like, I guess how do you view the process?
Yeah, I think I've been really lucky with the companies that I've worked with because they usually give me like total creative license in terms of like the genre, and like they're like, yeah, like we'll just leave everything up to you. So like we don't want to like touch your like musical headspace or creativity or anything. Like sometimes they'll have like lyrics that they want me to change like for like legal reasons and stuff, but normally like I have full creative control, so I don't mind. I think it's just like a fun thing to do on the side, and like I don't think it takes away from my like integrity as an artist, like for my own music. So
No, I mean, I love that. Obviously, like as a business person, and like I hope that artists who might be in here that like have checked out your stuff and are inspired by what you're doing, like take a note of that, because there's a season for everything, right? And like when you're not like creatively inspired to make the thing that you want to make, like it doesn't change the fact that you got bills to pay and you got things that you got to do, and like other goals beyond just like music that you're trying to
yeah.
achieve. So it's cool that you're doing that and that you view it in that way. I think that's amazing. Thanks, Nicola. He redeemed hydrate, so if you have some water near you, we gotta drink something. Cheers.
Yes.
But so you mentioned TikTok, and you've grown quite a bit. TikTok's obviously gained a lot of popularity through the pandemic and just people being at home, being on their phones more than everything. I feel like it was inevitable, and it was happening even before the pandemic. But
Yeah.
what made you gravitate towards that platform in particular?
Honestly, like it was kind of just like boredom and like a whim. A couple people had like suggested that I started TikTok, and I was like pretty hesitant. I was just like, oh, like I don't know if that's gonna be like cringy or like I still have friends who like won't do it because they like it's like a I don't know integrity as an artist kind of a deal. But I love it. I like was just bored in Miami. I spent 3 months there for quarantine, like when COVID first started. And I just like remixed a song and it did pretty well. And I was like, oh, like this is actually like something super fun that I can do, like to like keep myself busy. And then I'm also growing a platform. And then as I was releasing music, like it was just like the most growth like ever that I had seen. Like, and I was like finally reaching all these like fans that I had been trying to reach forever. So it ended up being like really, really cool. And now I love it.
And obviously, like, you are super smart and clever with the way that you kind of took on the platform. Like, what I feel like from day one, you kind of understood like what works on the platform. So, and we talk about creativity, and there's a little bit of merit to that, right? Because there's certain things that like do really well on TikTok that you could deem as like cringeworthy or whatever. It's all subjective, but how do you balance your knowledge of like what works versus like the thing that you creatively want people to hear? Because they're not always the same thing, right? Or are they?
Yeah. I think it's what I've been noticing now is like I can do my like I'll turn this song into another genre, or like I'm gonna turn this song like into like a Lana Del Rey song, and that's like cool and fun to do. But I want to tie it back a little bit more to like my music as an artist. And so like when I'll post on TikTok about like my like video that's coming out or like my songs, like I have to like you have to kind of find a right angle to do it, as opposed to just like, oh, this was a fun thing that I did. Because like when I'm making those genre flip videos, I'm not like in my mind thinking like, oh, okay, I have to do it this way because like it's gonna do like like super well on TikTok if I do it like this certain way. But like with my own music, I think it's like a little bit difficult, like more difficult to market. And so it takes a lot more like storyboarding and like figuring it out like that way. So yeah, that's like what I've been kind of like struggling with a bit is to just like how to get my own music to resonate on the platform as well as like my other content.
I get that. And I guess, I mean, I always wonder, and like you are definitely more of an expert than I am. I have some videos on my TikTok that I think are pretty funny and clever, but I don't have like the following that you have. But I guess I'm just curious, like, because sometimes when I watch people do those like flips and stuff, it doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like I'm watching like a highlight from a TV show or something, right? And then sometimes when I feel like an artist is talking about themselves or something, it can almost come off as like an ad on most platforms. But for some reason, TikTok, I don't get bothered by it as much. I don't know what that is. Like, do you, like, I guess you mentioned there's more storyboarding. You mentioned like those things, but is there anything else that you've kind of like learned so far through the process for any other creative people who might be on here, or people who work with creative people that they might be able to learn from mistakes you've made?
Yeah, I think like the thing with TikTok is like just grabbing people's attention right at the beginning of the TikTok is the hardest part, but that's like what's gonna make people stay, and that's like what triggers the algorithm, and like it's like what makes everyone like keep sharing the video and liking it and all that. And so like with the little girl TikTok that did really well, I think the main reason for that was like because of the emotional element, like with like my dad crying at the end, and it was like a whole build up to like that little moment. So like if you're trying to make a TikTok really hit hard, like I think it's got to be more of like a story situation, like where like you grab people's attention at the beginning and then it's like building up to this like end, and it's like, oh, super satisfying after that like 40 or 50-second clip that you just watched. Like, and I think those are the ones that do the best on there. Like I feel like we're all just like constantly scrolling, and like when you like watch a really satisfying TikTok, you're like, oh yeah, like that was not a waste of my like last like I don't know forever long you were scrolling, you know.
I showed, so my wife's in the chat right now, and she I showed her that video last night, and she said she cried. Well, yeah, I saw her. She cried. I'm talking like I'm like, she said she cried. I was like, no, I was totally there. We just finished watching some Vikings, and
That's so sweet.
and I showed her the video. But What I was gonna say was when you are going into this like how long, because you said you took out like you take out a section of your day, like how many hours do you feel like you put into TikTok a week, would you say?
Um, I don't know. That's so hard. It like really varies week to week. I feel like I could always be putting in more, but like realistically, I would say like takes me about an hour or so to make like a track, and then to film it and edit is like about another hour. So that's like 3 to 4 times a week. Um, I don't know. I would say like 8 to 10 hours a week on TikTok, like just like making content and stuff. Ideally, I want to start like posting at least like 3 or 4 times a week, but we'll see. Like it's just so tough with like sessions and like everything else going on. But yeah, I think that's a fair
I mean,
estimate.
I feel like it's pretty time consuming, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I would imagine that's part of the like. I think any kind of content stuff, like. But what's weird is it's like when you're making music, it feels different than when you're having to like make this like video content, right? So, I mean, I'm just curious, like, is there? You mentioned some of your friends that are like hesitant to join the platform, and clearly, like, TikTok is sort of like, and it changes all the time, right? Like, but TikTok clearly feels like it's going to be around for a while. Um, I guess, what do you say to your friends? What do you say to artists who are like, yeah, like TikTok isn't for me? Do you, I mean, like, obviously, like, people are allowed to do what they want to do, but like, in your professional
Yeah.
opinion, as somebody who is doing this for a living and has gotten all of these opportunities, I mean, for obviously through your own music, but obviously TikTok has been a big like accelerator for your career.
Yeah.
What do you say to them about their hesitance?
I think honestly, like their opinions are valid, and like for whatever reason they don't want to do it, like that's fine. But it has been so incredibly helpful to my career, and like I know so many people that would do super well on the platform that are just like really hesitant, or like I don't know, they just like think it's something that it's like not. And like to those people, I would say you're missing out on like a very significant like fan base and like really loyal people. And yeah, just like it's just really nice like getting comments all the time that are like, we're here to support you and like your career, and we're here from the beginning. Like it's awesome, and like yeah, I think everyone should do it.
It looks like Cosmic said TikTok scared him, and he's not gonna lie. You know who doesn't like it when I'm on TikTok? Is this guy.
Woo! Hey, bud.
Obi's here, everybody.
Hi. Hello. Oh my god, he's huge.
He's just gotten. I feel like he just gets bigger. There you go, buddy. I
Oh,
know.
what a baby.
I don't have anything for you right now. I have cuddles for you in a little while, but I gotta do this. I know.
What a little baby.
He's mad. There you go. No, we're gonna get OB emotes, guys. I promise. But for now, you'll just have to do the whatever that dog is called. Oh my dog.
God.
Yeah. Obi's in the house. I forget that there's a. I'm pretty sure there's a command for Obi, right? There it is. Follow Obi, the world's best doggo, on Instagram.
That is adorable.
So,
I love that.
speaking of platforms, because I want to get into the gaming side of stuff in general, before the call and stuff like that, you had done some stuff on Twitch before, but like, what is your perception of Twitch and the just gaming community and streaming community in general?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I like am learning a lot about it now, because I have a couple friends who are like streaming pretty regularly now, and it's like a world that I had really no idea about until like pretty recently. But yeah, I would love to like make a Twitch and like be streaming, and I also play like a lot of Animal Crossing, as you know. So if I could just like stream music stuff and like play Animal Crossing, I think that would be so fun. And yeah, again, just like a great way to like expand my community and like be in touch with people.
What kind of music stuff do you think you would do on your stream?
Probably like production stuff. Maybe like while I'm making the song flips, I could like stream and show people like my process, or like even just like practice or sing or whatever I'm doing at the moment, music wise. I would love to just like stream that and like have people comment and stuff.
Yeah, there's this girl that I follow on Twitch named she goes by I think Lil Bad Snacks.
Hmm.
And she's like a lo-fi producer, and she produces on streams, but she also like reviews other producers' tracks and like gives them
That's
feedback
sick.
and stuff. And I've been like, I get sucked into it every time. Like lo-fi is just like what I listen to when I'm like tired of hearing pop songs and like lyrics
Yeah.
anymore. As much as
Yeah.
I love classical music, I love modern production and just like to me, like I feel like Tame Impala, if and maybe they already have, but like speaking of Kevin Parker, like it would be amazing to just have like the instrumentals from those records, like that I could just play in
Mm.
the background and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, and something I wanted to talk about is in the music business in general, like women are like it's pretty male dominated, white male dominated, and in nowhere I feel like is that more apparent sometimes, and I know a lot of great female producers like. For you being in the role that like do you think about that when you're producing, especially now that you're starting to produce for other people, like I guess what are your feelings on the subject?
Yeah, totally. It's definitely a thought that comes up. I'm actually like writing a song about it, which is like funny that you asked that. But yeah, I think it's definitely always a thought. Most of my friends out here, besides like maybe one or two, are all males. Just because like that's the industry, and that's like most of the producers that I work with are all dudes. And every time I meet a female in the industry, it's just like, oh my god, like let's like work, like let's be best friends, like we have to like lift each other up. Like it's always like I'm so excited to work with other women, especially producers, because there's really not that many. And yeah, it's like the females in the industry that I've like met out here, that are more in like the writing and producing side, like we all are like super down to like help each other out all the time. And it's like it's really cool to like meet other women that are like down for that and like not in competition with each other. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that is slowly changing, and I'm definitely here for it.
I love that. Baltimore is asking if you're plugged in with She Writes or any of the other types of collectives that are focused around um, those efforts.
I do follow She Writes, but I'm not like in the collective right now. Maybe hopefully in the future. But
Not in the club. You're not in that club. Not yet.
yeah.
Who are some of the like female producers and writers? Like it would be great to be able to sort of just like shine a light on some of the people that you're inspired by and that you think are doing really dope stuff. Because I'm also like some of my favorite producers that I've been like talking to lately, besides you, have been people like Wynn Bennett, and who's been doing a ton of the Taylor Park stuff, who's an incredible artist and writer, but also like Ebony Smith, incredible engineer. Also Pom
Yeah.
Pom, like really loving her stuff. And I heard she's moving from New York to LA, so it's like I feel like there's this like thing going on, and I'm just curious if there's any producers that you'd want to shout out or writers. I mean, even if it's not she, her, if it's they, them. Like, would love to like
Oh,
show some people in the chat some diversity in the production space, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
totally. So I've just had like a couple hangs with Cassie Marin. I don't know if you know her, but
I don't
she's
think I know.
incredible. She writes and produces all her stuff, and she also like her aesthetic is insane, and she's like gorgeous and like awesome, and I can't like say enough good things about her. But yeah, she's a great producer. And then I've also
Could you type it in the chat
yeah,
so
let me
that
type
we know what
her
it is?
in.
That way I'll be able to check it out. I'll be able to check it out later
At,
with no misspellings.
that is her Instagram at Cassie Marin. Oh, did it work? There we go.
Boom.
And then I've also been working with a writer. Her name is Eva Honey, and she was one of the writers on like Makika's song that got super big.
Oh, the one that went viral? The one
Vices.
about
She
rehab
wrote
or
on
something? Yeah,
Vices.
Vices.
And she has helped me write a couple of tracks for my project, and she's insane. She's super talented as well.
And if you keep typing their, mods will share their Instagram for everybody to check out.
Oh yeah, I love them both so much, and like anytime I can shout other women out, like it's a pleasure.
No, I love that. And, we've come to the gaming portion of this discussion.
Oh boy.
And I want to know, because we obviously have played Animal Crossing before together. I visited your island, and I was like, we definitely should have visited my island first. So it would have been way more exciting. It would have been like, talk about story building and everything. I guess, are you still playing Animal Crossing? And like, did that start with the pandemic, or did you play it before then?
Yeah. Well, I got New Horizons like literally at the start of the pandemic, so I was like, I need this game right now.
Good timing, right?
But I'm like, yeah, I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan since like the GameCube version, so I've had like literally like every version that's come out since this one, and yeah, it was like a good 3 4 months that I was just like going super hard in the Animal Crossing world. I took like a little break when I was like in the thick of, I mean, I'm still in the thick of like the music and the sessions and all that stuff, but I'm like slowly getting back into it now just because I have like a little bit more free time now that I'm not working. Um, but yeah, I freaking love that game.
And do you play any other games besides Animal Crossing? I feel like I asked that question, but I was like, so just like I feel like we stuck on Animal Crossing quite a bit. Like I don't think we ever got to really talk about the other games you've played.
Yeah, right now I don't play anything. I got like kind of into Minecraft like back in last December. Um, but yeah, anything like world buildy or like things where you can be like super creative, I'm like super into. I was like a huge Sims player like when I was little. I would literally just go on to like make houses and like make rooms and like things like that. Like I wouldn't even play with the people. I would just like go on there to like make things. But yeah, right now I just play Animal Crossing.
Did you like? Did you ever like do like? Because there's obviously viral videos of people doing like really weird, funky stuff on either Sims or on Animal Crossing. Like, is there anything like that you feel like is weird that you've done on either of those games, or are you pretty just methodical? Like, it's just about the world building. Like, I've seen people like put a villager like in the middle of like a bunch of holes so they can't escape and like stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I don't think I've ever done it like on purpose. Like I definitely enjoy watching people do that, and I think it's like super like funny, like meme related. I feel like I just get so into those games and like in the zone of like, okay, like this is what I have to do. Like I'm gonna make my town look this way, that it's like I don't really just like mess around on there, but I think it's so funny, like seeing like what people come up with. With The Sims when I was little, I definitely like messed around a little bit more, but that was like a long time ago.
Man, yeah, I haven't like I was super into like Roller Coaster Tycoon and like
Oh, me too.
games like that, like with building stuff. So I feel you on
Yeah.
that. For some reason, Sims like always frustrated me because I don't know, something would always go wrong. Somehow the house would burn down, and I'm like, I get it now because that's like real life shit that you have to worry about now. But like for some reason, it was
Yeah.
just like it was super stressful, and like Animal Crossing is like the anti like stress game. Like, what a
Totally.
great time for that game to come out.
Yeah.
And I recently went back after we had our conversation and like got rid of all the weeds on the island
Amazing.
and I'm making some progress again. I'm happy to tell everybody.
Good.
I'm doing all right.
Good.
But
Good.
no, I'm like I literally am like low key every day. I'm like I don't care about the PS5. I don't care. And then like also me is like on every like have every tab open like trying to get my hands on one of them before the end of the year. But like I'm also trying to just tell myself like that I'll be okay if I don't get it. Is your only console right now the Switch?
Yeah, I have a Switch Lite too, which I think I am just gonna bite the bullet and buy like a real Switch so that I can like start streaming off of it and stuff. But But yeah, I have a Switch Lite. I have a Nintendo 3DS that I like never play anymore because that was like my main Animal Crossing thing, and then now I just play Animal Crossing on the Switch.
Can you switch the data over from oh man, can you switch the data over from your what do you call it, from the Switch Lite to another Switch?
Yeah, you actually can. My friend just did it. You have to like download like some other weird software, but it's possible.
So a fun thing about Twitch is, well, I guess it depends. Fun is subjective in this case. But a fun thing is that I have channel points. They're called dopeness. You can, for anyone who's on here, as you're on the channel and you interact with the channel, you earn dopeness points. And if you click on that circle, you can redeem them for certain things. And Young Robots, by far the most favorite thing when I was first coming up with my channel points, like rewards, I was like, what do you, I went to Krista, I was like, what do you think I should do as like a reward? And she's like, yeehaw should be one of them or something. And it is by far the most popular one, and mainly because of Young Robot here, who loves to redeem yeehaws. No matter how expensive I make them, he just saves his points and use them. So I'm giving it to you right now, Young Robot. Yeehaw! There you go. You got it, buddy. I hope you're happy. I hope that made your entire week, okay? I'm going to make them more expensive for the next one.
That's amazing. That's so funny.
Can we hear your yeehaw? Can you get...
you want me to yeehaw?
Yeah, I mean, technically it's whoever's on the channel, I think. So you got to give your best yeehaw coming from Florida.
Yeehaw!
There you go. Putting the guest on the spot.
God.
Savage. Extra savage. So people clearly don't like that I treated you that way, so I apologize. And they said yours was way better than mine. Wow.
I mean...
No, I don't know. Can we get a poll? Can we get a poll on whose yeehaw was better?
Thank you. I appreciate it, you guys.
We're about to get I already have I have a feeling that yours is going to be better than mine, but I just need to see it. I need to see the votes. I want the poll. I want the poll. Somebody do it. No, it's about to happen.
You can make a poll?
Yeah, you can. So you do like /poll, and then it makes a poll, but I don't know if somebody else is doing it right now. Oh, it's coming. Don't worry. Okay, great.
Oh,
Whose was better? All right, I'm voting for me because I thought mine was pretty good. There.
I'm voting for her. Oof. Clearly.
This is not going well for me right now. Okay, cool. I got 2. So you're saying there's a chance, guys. Come on.
Thank you, guys.
Pull me ahead. We still have. Hey, it's not over. We got another 30. We got another 30 seconds here. Do we really need to vote? Even my wife is like, we already know that Calica is the winner. Oh no. All right. Hey, well, we had to vote because crowd participation is important.
I appreciate it.
And your votes matter. Number 1. Oh boy. All right. I'm not gonna even look at the poll. I'm just gonna believe that I won. That's what I'm Trump in this situation and you're Biden, which I don't even like saying that, but like I don't even know. I'm not orange person. I'm pink person. You won, Calica. Congrats. You get the trophy.
Thank you. I needed that ego boost, you guys.
Here, let's celebrate. Here we go. You see that? And is that showing up on your end on the stream? There we go. That's you with your that's you with the win right now. And this is me. This is absolutely me.
I'm so sorry, Chris, but the people have spoken.
It's whatever. It's whatever. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. But look, we've reached the end of the stream, and this is the part where I want to, again, shout out your socials here, and then also make sure that you guys go check out Calica's new song. It came out today, and there's a video coming out when? When's the video coming?
Next Tuesday.
And actually, I'm going to ask you a question, but while I do that, chat, if you guys have any questions for Calica, please put them in the chat now. I'm going to ask this question, then she'll answer whatever questions you might have if you have any. And then we're going to invite Calica to help us raid somebody for the evening. So my question is, with the making of the video, like, how?
How?
just how like all of it, like everything that I've seen, and I haven't seen the whole video, but like I'm super stoked. Like I don't feel like there's been a video all year, honestly, like, and not just because you're here, that I've been like more like aware that it's coming and excited to see it, from the choreography to how it was shot and everything. Like, can you kind of let us in a bit on how that was done?
Totally. It was the most incredible experience. Like, probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. The director actually reached out to me and was just like, hey, your music is dope. Like, I would love to work with you. And so that was back in like August, I think. And then me, him, and Dan had been like just like sitting down and like coming up with ideas and stuff. And we were like, okay, what if we just like took this giant mirror into the desert, and like we definitely knew we wanted like it to be like dance centric. Like from the moment we wrote the song, like I remember being in the studio with Dan and being like, oh my god, like if we ever do visuals for this, like I definitely want like a dancer. Like I feel like this is such like a danceable song. And so then the director found these twins that are incredible, the Hoover twins. They're insane. And basically they choreographed this whole dance basically to the whole song with like a mirror in mind. So like it's gonna be like the mirror and then two of them like dancing basically with the mirror and like going in and out of it. The mirror has like a huge hole cut out in it. It's like so insane. It's so fun. But yeah, they basically choreographed the whole thing themselves. We like hired, like the director just like had some really crazy contacts like with like a jib, so like we got like insane like jib footage, which is basically like,
I was gonna say, whose jib was that? Like, who just had a jib around?
I mean, he works on like a lot of short films and stuff, so he just like found the contact for this jib operator guy who's literally been like doing it for like his 50 years or so. He was like an old man who like came with his own like crane and like just like he was incredible. So yeah, we have like cool footage from like above the mare. Like all the shots are like so well done and like so professional looking. And yeah, it was just like this little DIY team of people that we got together, and like we just did the thing. We drove out to the desert and like spent the day shooting, and it was beautiful. It was awesome.
Man. Well, again, I love your DIY attitude and spirit about everything. Like, since our first conversation to now, like, that's continues to be super impressive and inspiring for me, and I'm sure for everybody who's here and anybody who gets to have the pleasure of working with you, even 50, 60-year-old jib operators, you know? So what, there is a question in the chat, which is from Tenlo, that says, what do you use on your vocal chain when you record?
Good question. I normally just use like CLA right now. Like that's my go-to, like the CLA vocal plugin.
Is that Chris Lord Algae?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Throw some reverb, throw some delay, and some compression, and we're good to go.
Dude, so I've gotten to work with both Chris Lord Algae and Tom Lord Algae on mixes, and what's interesting is like the two of them, I mean being brothers, like Chris, like some of my favorite records, like I don't know if do you know the band Hard-Fi?
Mm-mm.
So the band Hard-Fi had a song called Hard to Beat, which was kind of like, it was a kind of hit in a sense, but like it was funny because at the time I remember hearing it and being like, holy shit, this is amazing. But like a lot of CLA stuff is pretty compressed. So like, what, I guess, how did you like counteract that when you, or was there a lot of compression already coming out of the CLA thing? Because you mentioned adding like a different sort of compression after the fact. So was there?
No, I meant like within the plugin.
Oh,
like,
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's got to be like like his like secret sauce is that to me. It's like
Oh, totally.
the way that it like, but it does it in a way that's like tasteful. It doesn't do it in a way that's like
Yeah.
crushes it to hell and everything like that, which I think some people can make that mistake.
Totally. Yeah, I don't think I would add more compression on top of that. That would be insane.
Oh
But-
man. No, I feel it. And again, thank you for being on. We're gonna raid. Before I do that, I want to just remind everybody this is Calica. She's amazing. If you haven't checked out her music, you absolutely should. And she has a song that just came out today and a video that's coming out soon that she just talked about. My name's Chris. I do interviews every Friday. We're going to have to just keep raising the bar thanks to Calica here. And on Wednesdays, we listen to unreleased demos and we celebrate new releases. We'll certainly be celebrating your release this coming Wednesday since that wasn't available this previous Wednesday. So we'll definitely play yours. And yeah, basically now we're gonna find somebody to raid. Have you been a part of like a raid on Twitch before?
Never.
Cool. So how it works is there is currently 12 of us here, not including me and you. So there's 14 of us, and we're going to basically pick a channel that we're going to raid. Ideally, because this is a pretty music-related stream or producer-related stream, we're going to try to find somebody to go. Like either we just like the vibe of what it looks like, or somebody in the chat personally knows them and wants to support them. If you guys have somebody you want to suggest for the raid, please do so in the chat now. Otherwise, Calica and I are going to just browse Twitch while you do that to figure out who we're going to raid. Please stick around for it because whoever it is, we're going to surprise them. We're going to give them a bunch of love and support creative people. That's what this stream is about. So on your end, if you want, Calica, you can look on Twitch and just go to and for anybody who's at home wondering how to do this too, you just go to Twitch TV and you can click on the music tab. Will help you sort of make this this change. It looks like so my friend Faye is on, but her voice has been out, so I don't think she'd want us to go there now. I feel like people get bummed out whenever their voice is struggling. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I didn't know if you muted or what, but it was just quiet on this end.
I'm trying to find. I don't know how Twitch works.
Is the threat real? Yes, sir, we believe it.
What is playing right now?
Something big is gonna happen.
No.
Shift the balance.
It's playing music or sound. Let's go. We just gotta find somebody normally, and I've been following a bunch of people to see if they're on. There is RAC is on. Do you follow RAC like as a producer?
No.
RC is pretty cool, but Telly from The Word Alive is on.
I'm gonna see if the guy that I did a Twitch interview before is online. No, he's not.
Go search music. It's not showing. Oh, there we go. Categories. So there's a category called music. I'm just gonna pick one unless you see something on your end or if your friend is on.
Sick, yeah.
You know what? Since we're talking about producers, RAC is a dope producer. Everybody should definitely check him out.
Cool.
Let's see. Again, I'm like really trying to see if there's like, okay, recommended for you. Based off taste. Anthony Fontana doesn't need more people on his stream. Did you know that he has a stream?
I don't know who that is.
Really? He's the needle drop guy. He's like
Yeah.
yeah, he is or Fantana. It's weird. He takes on like this new persona on Twitch where he's like in a dark room and wears like a white tank top and like these like round sunglasses. It's definitely an interesting
Sick.
one. Looks like somebody's celebrating a subathoniversary. I can't even say that. Looks like Julie Clark, and looks like she plays piano too. So maybe we'll do that.
Oh, cool.
You want to do that instead?
Yeah.
Yeah. REC maybe doesn't need the extra viewers. I don't think Julie does either. She's 100+ people in there right now. But we're gonna all go and say hi to Julie and wish her a happy subathoniversary. Which, if you don't know how to spell it, it's in the title of her stream. So, Calica, on your end, where you see Twitch, if you're on the voice, if you want to go back to the Voices Chris stream, you'll see it like raid right in. We can say hi to Julie, and then everybody ends up having a wonderful, great night. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate. I keep doing this to figure out how to spell the name, and it's a pretty easy name to spell. There we go. Subathoniversary, that is how you spell it. So, do you see the raid pop up on your end on Twitch?
I don't. Is it like on the chat?
It should be.
Yes.
It should be in the chat. Yeah, you just have to select. So, okay, cool. Calica, thank you again. Anything you want to say to everybody before we go and go say hi to Julie?
Yeah, just thank you for all the kind words. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Chris, for having me on. It was fun.
I'm stoked. Thank you. Everybody go crazy. Say hi to Julie for us. Thank you, Calica. Talk soon, y'all. See you on Wednesday.
Bye, guys.